In the street of the booksellers, Yashim stopped outside a little shop belonging to Galandris, who dealt in old books and curiosities. Sometimes he stocked the French novels which Yashim found hard to resist. Galandris fixed his visitor with his one good eye and ground his teeth. Galandris was not one of your forward, pushy Greeks. His job as a bookseller was to watch, not speak. People here have always been very interested in books, and this is the wonderful book bazaar, which in fact is the scene of a terrible crime at the beginning of the Snake Stone. Yashim would have come here, browsed through the collection. This is my favourite bookshop in Istanbul. One of Galandris's eyes was filled with cataracts, but the other did the work of two, recording the way a customer moved, the speed with which he selected a certain book, the expression on his face as he opened it and began to read. Old books, new books, Greek books, Turkish books, and precious few of those, books in Armenian and Hebrew and even now and then in French. Dmitri Galandris stocked them as and when they came to him, pell-mell. Books did not interest him. But how to price a book, that was another matter. And so, with his one good eye, he watched the signs. These days, there's some really glamorous modern bookshops in the city as well. One of them, beautifully positioned on Divan Yolu, close to the main historical sites of Sultanahmet, is called Gallery Kayseri. It's run by my friend Ali. It's not just a beautiful shop full of discoveries. Ali rather likes my books too. At least he says he does.
Your book is Yashim is selling one of the best ones now. Best ones. There you go. Not of the prize. Our best one.
We're going to redo.
It's certainly true you can never be sure what you'll find in an Istanbul bookshop. A lot of really interesting books get sponsored by Turkish companies who seem to run off 1,000 copies or so. And once they've been printed, they never get reprinted. So you have to act really fast if you see a book you like. It might be photos of the Crimean War, or a collection of essays about old Istanbul life, or a 2-volume slipcase reproduction of old maps and prints. Whatever they are, they're grist to my mill. With a detective at work in 19th century Istanbul, I'm never done with research or with looking for inspiration. Sometimes, though, the surprise isn't a book at all. This bookshop's called Gallery Kayseri because that's where Ali and his family are from. And that's not all.
I don't know, you became very famous in Turkey, in the world. Because you are very lucky because I come from Kayseri. We have a very famous traditional food, which is called manti.
Manti?
Yes.
Yes. Yashim cooks some manti in the Janissary tree.
Yes. And this manti, the people from Kayseri make very special. It has to enter to this one spoon, 40 pieces. Otherwise, the man should divorce the wife, you know. That is the reason. It's a very famous...
to make them very, very small.
Very small, and you have to be very special skill.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you cannot do it. And my wife is going to cook tonight manti, and you are very welcome that we invite you as a Turkish hospitality tonight.
Ali.
And you will see, but if you eat this manti, you will never go back to English.
Soğan, maydanoz, et.
Onion, meat, and
İşte tuz, karabiber.
like salt and
Pepper.
black pepper. For the sauce, she puts a little bit butter, this one, and tomato.
Bunlar diye tuz attım.
Just a bit water and a little bit salt and a little bit like oil.
Kaynayan suyun içerisine
And when
bunu
the water
atıyorum.
boils, she puts the small pieces of manti inside.
The Munty woman was still at work as Yashim had hoped. He bought a pound of meat and pumpkin munty, half a pint of sour cream in the dairy next door, and 2 rounds of burek still warm from the oven. And then, for what felt like the first time in days, he went home. In his room, he lit the lamps, kicked off his street shoes and hung his cloak on a peg. He trimmed the wicks and opened the window a fraction of an inch to clear the accumulated air. With an oil-soaked scrap of rag and a handful of dry twigs, he started a fire in the grate and scattered a few lumps of charcoal on top. Then he started to cook.